You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
We are TFR. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist Click and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. Shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. Well, what is up, everyone? We are live on air, and just check that. Well, it was Mike checking.
Sorry, guys.
Hey, it's your man Frank Castle. You know what that means, right? What does it mean?
Saturday night.
And what else does it mean? It means that I'm your sorcerer supreme on Truth Frequency Radio. And and it's me, and I'm here with my ethereal translator, Paula Milo.
Hey, everyone.
So, what's up, everyone? We were just talking, and it was bleeding through the mic during the intro. And I just want to give a shout out now so I could tell you guys what I was saying, is that people have been doing some really nice stuff that we don't really know. Like, we don't know everyone yet. Like, there's always new people. There's always, and greetings to you guys. Thank you so much. Someone did a wonderful favor for us. Did like a little.
Oh, yeah. This is what we were talking about.
Flyer just for the website. And she's like, well, you never know who you're going to, be talking to. And I'm like, yeah, he's like a bodybuilding champ in Canada. He loves the show.
That's
so shout
awesome.
outs to Mr. Golden Era. I only know you. I know everybody by their names on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. Speaking about all that, special shout outs to Chris and Cherie Gio. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here doing this like this. Happy holidays, everyone. Shout outs to the chat room. Greetings to Ra. Best night in radio, by the way, right here on Truth Frequency. So pretty excited. Was not feeling so up to it today at all. And it's funny. As the show starts, it's like every bit of caffeine that did absolutely nothing for me today is hitting me right now.
All at once. Mm-hmm.
It's pretty amazing. Since I was up at 7:30 today. Can't sleep at night. What's wrong? Well, let me start with Paul. Paul, how have you been sleeping?
I've been going through the strangest sleep patterns the last couple of weeks. I don't even know what to tell you. Like up at 4 a.m., down at 7:30 or 8 o'clock, then up at midnight, and then back down, and then up, and we're like two ships passing in the night. When I wake up, you go to sleep. When you're going to sleep, I'm waking up. It's very strange. It's like we're not allowed to sleep at the same time.
Now, one of the things, and we've talked about this on the show a bunch, when I was the little baby can see now, by the way. Shout outs to little Barry. He's running around the house.
Yes, and thank you again, all the Fearless family and friends, for the prayers, for the healings. He really is doing well. You'll hear him dangling off of things. And
shout outs to the Fearless family. One of the things I was shown when I was under Aya a while back on why we sleep in shifts is because we're getting paid visits. That's usually how it's starting. And I only realized this once I was shown, because we notice the routine and we wonder what the hell's going on. Then we try to fight the routine, break the routine. It causes problems sometimes, right? I mean, a normal relationship, you're like, why can't we just go to bed at times together? And It's just really never works itself for more than an hour or two, right?
Right.
That we're actually in the bed. So they were showing me as we were cat beings, not lions and, tigers. Oh, look how cool we look. We were like little cats that were standing erect. And one of the cats was complaining about being taken by someone. And we lived in these huts, and the cat was saying, and it was funny because when I do this
impression.
Thank you so much. When I do the impression, it gets ridiculous because it almost sounds like they were dummies, but they were very intelligent. But they would say, that didn't happen. Don't listen to her. Don't listen to her. What is she talking about? And they were all doing it at the same time, but it was coming out like meows, like yeah, it was really weird. But it was very simple English, like, so the girl was telling me they're abducting me, and I remember saying to her, don't listen to her, right? And I turned around, and she was gone, and there was a crowd of us. When I looked back at everyone, we were like, where'd she go? Everyone was just kind of doing that. Where'd she go? Where'd she go? Where'd she go? Where'd she go? It was ridiculous. We look back, and she shows back up right in front of us, boom, right out of thin air, and she's got Frankenstein cuts in her, like almost like the old open heart surgeries, but everywhere, stitches everywhere. And she's like, they keep taking me. Look what they're doing. And I said, well, she didn't have that on her before. What just happened? And we were just, meh, meh, meh. And then eventually we started realizing cats were being taken. We were being taken. So people started sleeping, and the beings started sleeping in shifts. And there were outside perimeter watches, internal perimeter watches. And I'm going to tell you this right now, nothing ever worked. Nothing. From what I've seen. So far from the earliest abductions, because, Paula, it's funny. After that moment, and I've told you this privately, when that experience happened to me, that they took us together.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago.
But what they did was they had us in cages next to each other, almost like humans would have an animal in a cage. And when I was like growling in the cage, like, rah, get off of my paw, rah, and there was no getting out. So there was the defeat that you witness an animal having, like in a shelter or something.
Sure.
When the animal can't do anything,
right.
You've taken the animals. For me, I was a boy, you were a girl. They took you from me, and I watched them working on you, but I couldn't
do anything.
Not only could I not do anything, I couldn't think. I was like, I don't even know what they're doing, because that was like the bigger, more advanced beings doing that. And I'm going, why can't? And then I was just broken. I wasn't crying or nothing, and I just was laying there. But then that goes over and over. They were showing me different moments through different lifetimes, by myself, not with you, in different situations with different beings, different people. Then all the way up to the human experience, now where we're at right now. Then we go to South Carolina, and we have that most interesting, ridiculous experience during the eclipse, and you get stuck into the abduction scenario as well.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Once living through the scenario, and, maybe you could give like a little info on what the abduction scenario, what they were doing to you. But after seeing that, you see why instantly that would carry over lifetime to lifetime, why you would try to be aware of it and stop them from taking you.
Oh, yeah. They were, during that experience in South Carolina, I had gone through what felt like childbirth 14 or 15 times. And I'm not even sure if they were human children that were being born.
I was sitting next to you, and I wasn't allowed to interact. I was literally told you cannot get involved, but you can be there for Paula. So as the shaman, I was watching the experience. I saw them putting them in you. They looked like, what do we call, like little caterpillars before they're caterpillars. What are they, in those like little sacks or whatever? They were stuffing that into you, and you were in a machine. And the machine would fill with the amniotic fluid, and you would go. And it's funny because Paula breathes really weird under iron. I always yell at her. She goes, and I'm like, what are you, having a baby? Cut it out. You're going to give yourself a heart attack breathing like that. But check this out. So she's in a tank.
Tube.
She's in like a tube, right? Like you'd keep Captain America frozen in the tube.
Yeah, that's
right?
exactly what it was like.
It was, except the legs at the bottom was split into the Y, so they could put the babies in and out, right? And it would fill up with the pink liquid, and I was banging on it, going, open it up. And the snake men were just like, this guy can't do nothing. He's not allowed to get involved. And you'd go, and then you'd be dead because you're drowning, but then you're breathing that fluid.
Yeah.
So you come back like within a few seconds and you're like, and it looks like you're underwater. And then you go through the whole experience. Then they drain it. And then boom, they start it again. And I'm going, come on, man. Like, how many times has she got to go through this? Now, when I was arguing with the different beings that were there, and they were reptilians and they were snake men, there was little grays, and they weren't that little, but they were smaller than the rest. There was like this spiteful thing, and they were like going for your essence. And what were you saying?
It can't be duplicated.
You can't
take it. It's mine. It's essential and it's mine. It comes from me. Can't be taken.
Now, why is that though? Do you have a?
I don't know. I don't know.
Is it just like making a copy from a copy? It's not.
Oh
like
yeah,
the
it
original
is.
Essence. It's
no, you can't.
The organic original is it. Like I always think like, well, we can do that if, like Source. They say God took a piece of himself. Source took a piece of himself, kind of gave it to you, and then you become an individual piece of Source. Well, to my understanding, we can do that ourselves, like create another.
Well, we do it.
Give life to another organic character.
We do it all the time during childbirth. Oh, you know what? We had talked about this. Earth being the living library. So, there's a lot of controversy over these channelers that come in and try to give information about the Pleiadians and people that are coming from the future, basically, to our reality, to our now, to try to tell us what we need to correct because of the outcomes that they're seeing. Because human survival, human life surviving, so many other planets are dependent on our survival because we are the living library. This is where
there's a non-understanding I think people have of this.
Yeah, this is where
Earth is.
All the DNA is stored. This is where everyone comes
to get a piece,
to retrieve DNA, because I think everyone has left their DNA here before the human
experiment,
before the human race even got here.
Oh yeah, no, the library was the library.
So I think that's what they're trying to replicate or duplicate, and it can't be duplicated. We are given, a different set of rules. The humans, we have free will. From what we understand so far, we are one of the only races out there that do have free will, and the largest range of emotion. So these channelers are coming in and saying that, basically the only way that you can be populated or incarnated on this earth is through childbirth.
That's the proper way to do it.
The proper way to do it. A man and a woman having a child. Now, I'm just telling you what is relayed through the channelers. They consider anything that's not childbirth, like in vitro or having
the baby's not inside
having
the mother.
To have assistance with childbirth. So they're saying that the only thing that they consider true DNA, true living library DNA, is a man and a woman having a baby. And I don't think they realize that can't be replicated anywhere else. The way that conception,
it can be cloned, and it could be kind of like
it can be, but it cannot be. You cannot replicate it. You can't replicate it anywhere. You're not going to get a human soul any other way. So yeah, I was in this glass tube, and I kept giving birth, and they were trying to take my essence, but they can't take it because you're only given one. Until the next lifetime, and then you're given another one, and that's the way it is.
Right next to you was babies that were like, they brought them forward, and one had your body. It was same height, but like the big head with the wraparound eyes with long hair, right? Then another one had like a kind of human face, but with their body, no hair. On and on and on with all the differences. And they never had a Paula, which all they wanted was they were like, we want to take this and put it here.
Right.
And I'm like, no, but you can't. I was arguing with them.
Can't do that. Doesn't work like that.
And during my abduction, they split me from my wrist up my neck. And there were 3 insect beings, and they were like poking with things. And I'm like, what are you looking for in my arm, shoulder, neck area? Like, I was looking at them. I was wide awake. And it was disgusting. And I was freaking out, but I couldn't move. And they said, oh, ignore him. I go, yeah, but they're ignoring me. What are you looking for? I might be able to just give it to you. And they're like, we want that just said that. I go, me?
Can't have it. That's
you
free.
Want Frank or you want the big guy? And they're like, we want the big guy. And I'm like, you can't have
that
the big guy. You can't. There's no place to suck it out of my body.
No.
They were trying
Source.
to find it.
You can't have it. Yeah.
And I'm going, you guys I'm taking them on a spaceship or something, and you guys are looking, and you have all that info in your head, but not a shred of common sense.
Because that range of emotion isn't there anywhere else. That's what they want. They want the free will. They want the range of emotion, the 1,000 words to describe one thing. The idea that a human mind can be changed 1,000 times a second. You know, we can be overcome, and we can learn hate, and we can learn love, and we can learn to manifest good or manifest bad, depending on what we believe.
One of the guys in the chat room be like, beat it, Grays, not today. I want to tell you, my first abduction that I was aware of on the Aya was very recent. It was a few years back, but they came and tagged me, and they were like these little one-footers. And I remember they took the girl at the time. I went on a date, and I had someone over my house, and they came in immediately. It was like 6 o'clock at night. I lost 2 hours of time. So when I drank the Aya, I remember freezing and standing there and watching them walk in, and I was stunned by what I was watching, but they took her first. So I was kind of like, well, they don't want me, and which was funny. And then one of them came right up to me and looked and goes, oh, look who it is. And it knew who I was. And I said, oh, yeah, you like that, right? I'll grab you by the neck they were like, you're not going to do
anything,
nothing, right? And I was like, I can't do anything. Like, even the words trying to say it, help. That's what was coming out of me. And I'm like, internally, I was going, I'll kill you with a flick of my finger. I can knock you across the room. But 12 of you jumping on me while I can't move, I'm not going to be doing anything. Right? So interesting experiences. And once again, they were tagging. It was like they knew my essence because the way they were making fun of me. I didn't know at that time who I was.
Your soul was being tracked. They knew what was going on.
And then they showed, during the eye experience, they showed exactly what you just said. They've been tracking us and tagging us, the organic raw consciousness, since the very beginning.
Thousands of years.
Since
these souls.
The illusion was implemented, whenever that was, because I have no clue whether it could have been 50,000 years, it could have been 10,000 years, it could have been last week for all we know. We don't know. But when that went down, they were tracking us. That
happened to you a long time ago.
That was like 3 summers ago.
No, it had to be longer than that. We're together almost 4 years.
2014.
Right.
That's when I went to Chris.
That's when you were with it. No, that's not when
we're in 2018. I was on tour in 2014. I was in the 2014, 2015, or was it 2013? I saw Chris. No, I got injured No, it was 2014 when I saw Chris. So
and that's when that.
Going to 2019.
Yeah, but that's when that happened to you. You got tagged.
Oh no!
No,
that happened in my apartment.
That's what I'm talking about. That happened like 15 years ago, or 10 years ago at least.
It was in between. It was about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might have been more than 8, maybe 9, because I remember the girl hit me on Facebook. I told you. She's actually one of my friends, and I said, "Oh my God, that girl hit me," and I threw her out, and I blamed her for drugging me. I said, you wanted to get with a rock star. You knocked me on Well, just to let you guys know, we woke up 2 hours later. I was bent over the couch with no clothes on one couch, hanging over like I was just having prison sex. And then she was on the other couch in a robe that was in a box in my back closet in my bedroom, which we never even got out of we went from the vestibule to the kitchen and cracked the tequila. I had one drink and I don't remember anything. And then when I woke up, she was naked. And she was like, yo, did we have sex? And I'm looking at her and I was touching myself going, I wouldn't touch her. Like, it was the weirdest moment. So I asked her if she was all right. She goes, oh, it doesn't look like we had sex. I go, I didn't touch anything. I was naked. I'm short. I was way short. I'm hanging over the side of the couch like a baby. who just got I had his diaper put on. It was the weirdest thing, and my clothes were in a pile on one side of the room, just like as if they were pulled off me and just sitting on the floor on top of my sneakers. So I said, I don't know what you gave me. You're out. I'm the rock star here. And she was like, oh, And then I never hung out with her again. I was like, you're out.
Did you apologize to her after?
Nope.
You never apologized to her when you figured out what was going on?
I figured it out when I was with you in the living room.
I know that, but you should have apologized. You should have.
No, like how do I tell? All right. Nah, I don't know. That's just well, I'm friends with her. I figure when the crap hits the fan and we start seeing ETs and stuff like out in the open, I could be like, hey, you remember that time? I mean, for real. And let me tell you what, you guys would feel physically over the Greys, you'd feel that you could beat the crap out of them. You'd feel that. But they do this thing where they just stare at you and you're done. And I argue with Shaman Jimmy, not Shaman, with Shaman Jimmy. I don't argue with him about it, but we discuss it openly. I'm like, what if this gets physical? What if we protect ourselves to the level where we're so good, right? Paul has cast out so many demons. Frank's like, yo, man, you can't hurt me. I'm Shiva Om, Frank. Nothing's going to hurt me. And then they just kind of knock at the door and come in. And you're like, oh, you got a problem, right? You want to throw down? Because we can do that. And the next thing you know, you're on the floor. Just playing in meditation, I was flipping through beings in my mind. I don't know how this was happening. And Paul was with me, and one of them poked me right in my face. Like, mind your business. Bing. And I was like, oh. I got up. It took me 20 minutes to recover. Went in again. Said, yeah, I'd like to see you do that again. Bing. Right on the floor again. I'm like, how are we fighting these guys? And that's the nerdy ones. You don't even want to go up in size. Because as they go up in size, it becomes the most ridiculous thing. I watched what I would consider a training session when I had to merge with my female self, and people are going to laugh at me, and I don't really give a shit. We all have fractals. I have a Arcturian fractal, and it's a giant female who's like very warrior-like, but she's not very good looking. And they were like, yo, she wants to show you some stuff. I'm like, yo, she's built like a superhero. And they put her in some training room, and I couldn't believe what I was watching. And I said, how is that actually possible? And they're like, there are genetics in this universe that are specifically directed. So a being will specifically be able to do a set of specific things they want to do. Right. So if you want to have someone that, has full mental powers, this, that, and the other thing, they'll come in as one of these little gray things with the big heads. So they'll have ultimate cranial capability. But if you want to be a gymnastic type person that's more of a warrior type, you'll come in with the genetics. They're bred for this specific thing. And I'm like, well, they look perfect except for they're dauntingly not sexy at all, like in the face. It's just weird, like Muppet-like. Big features like giant lips, giant ears, weird, like the eyes don't open all, like they always look like they're squinting, and then boom, when they open them and look surprised, you jump right out of your pants. All of that to reptilian, all the way to a reptilian, which I still think is the most craziest thing I've ever seen. So
take it back to what you were talking about before.
Well, I didn't see any reptilians in the babies that they were taking from you, but I did see interesting. This is another thing I asked about. Are we, as people, right? So we'll kick it all the way back, because I'm not going to tell that girl nothing until the little grays come back out, But do we have to meet these beings eventually? Like, is that part of your karmic responsibility and your ties if that energy is taken from you unwillingly and put into another avatar?
It can't be. It can't be, period.
Even if it has your DNA strip in it.
Yes, because it has to be activated. Like we have non-human DNA in us.
I think I know what you're saying.
I think that's what those genetic markers, those are what they left behind. There's a lot of DNA that is non-human that's in all of us. I think there needs to be some sort of an activation.
I think I have to agree with that. I think that they're playing master genetics with everything. And with us, specifically, they put the living library into one thing, right? Like the universe into one avatar.
And everything. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, that's what I meant. All. Maybe just saying all is the right word. Now, why would they put all into one avatar? Why would another race want to make an avatar with a little bit of every DNA everywhere?
To come back when they need something, when there's illness on there, wherever they're from, or there's something that they need to heal or fix or change. I mean, it could be any reason.
I agree with that. Or to trap a god.
I don't think.
I think that's the wrong way to say it, but I wanted to spike people's thought before we go into the break.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I think they're attracted to us because of our range of emotion. I don't think it has much to do with intelligence, though, because the information is given to us. I think it's always been given to us. So I think as far as being superior or more intelligent, that's not an issue.
Well, we're not. It's just the creator being is what I'm getting at.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. It's more the emotional side of things that they're interested in, you know?
Well, maybe the emotional bandwidth is what gives us the free will. Never even thought of that.
Right,
maybe
but
that is like one of the layers.
Yeah, I think that's something that is worth exploring. It's something that's worth them learning about. You know, where is free will derived from?
It's almost like it's all written already, but your free will choice gets you off track all the time with all these distractions.
Every second of every day, there is a choice to be made, Frank.
That was sweet right there. Just looked over at gave her the wide-eyed wink. All right, when we come back, we're going to just dive deeper into what's going on. Look, guys, protection from deception. This is FearLess.
Real people, real radio.
Initiating the truth frequency.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
Am I awake or is this a dream? It's a dream. It's a dream. A fantasy of where I'd rather be. So come and talk with me. Come and walk with me. Is this a wake-up call from my reality? Have you seen my friends? Have you seen my girl? Wake me up from this. I'm trapped in this world.
Milo, and we're going to set off the second half of the show. But before we do, stick around. We got great shows up tonight. Paranormal Portal, Brenton Longbeard are coming. Don. And don't forget to go to IamWeAreFearless.
Oh, yes.
Right now, we're way past that holiday barrier where you can order and then get it on Christmas. But you know what? Every day is a great day to just go fearless, so it doesn't matter. Start the New Year's off right. With or supporting the artists and the people that you feel you're in a community with.
Oh yeah, and if you receive any Fearless gear, take a picture of yourself wearing it so we can put it on the website.
Yeah, and we hold a lot of stuff in the background where we have where you win certain prizes and everything. We have a monthly newsletter, so sign up when you go to the website. You get big discounts, and you get added into part of things that you're not quite used to. That you're not seeing up front. It's a beautiful thing. There's such a family of artists working for us. Shout outs to Sergio for making this a
reality, yeah,
for making it a reality. So it's pretty awesome. And there's an artist for everyone. All right, how you doing? All those abduction scenarios mentally got me going now. I'm ready to go kick a gray right between his smooth front.
But that's not even necessary. You know that.
You know, all right, so I just want to – I seem to be working the show backwards from what I wanted to tonight because I was very depressed today. And then there were things happening, but at the same time during the week, the grays were another factor, for me at least. They weren't coming in here. they were affecting people around us, and I notice we are definitely sleeping in the shifts very hardcore.
Oh, this week especially started last weekend, and it's just insane.
Okay, so I went down before during the day as well. Had to right in the middle of the day today, right? Boom, go down. I find out that, by the way, shout outs to all the shaman that went under today. You know who you are. I almost felt like you guys dragged me in.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
Somewhere between like the 10 o'clock in the morning hour to like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon hour, there was this shift of energy, or at least within my universe. And it's heavy, but I'm empty on the inside. So I don't hate my world. I don't hate my life. I love my life. I love my family. I love everything, but it was emptiness and heaviness pulling me down and forward, like some kind of, I don't know, last big pull of having the snake skin come off, like I was saying, right? Like someone else is tugging it. Like you can't go up any higher unless this comes off.
Right.
And you got a little bit on your face and you're tugging you down and a little bit on your chest, and it hurts in my heart. Have you been remembering your dreams?
Not as much recently, no. And I think it's because of the broken sleep. No, to be honest, no.
I wonder if the broken sleep and like it's like a layered thing. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I feel sometimes like we are on our toes and we worry somewhere in there, nervous about, or knowing, maybe not it's worry, I mean, it's just a knowing of it's coming, or it could happen, and then it all kicks in, and then the lack of sleep and the perception kind of comes off, and now your powers kind of wane back and forth. They're not kind of working right because you're tired. Then you don't know where you are. Up is down, down is up. Is it Monday? Is it Wednesday? Is it Thursday? I don't know what's going on anymore.
Well, I think you're very connected also to the people, like your fellow shaman, your friends. So I think when they're having their experiences, and I think this is a good tie-in to what you want to talk about anyway. So I think while they're having their experiences, you're being pulled into them. And I think there has to be a learning or maybe a showing of how to stop that energy from being exchanged. Because it seems when, your fellow shaman have their experiences, you are greatly affected by that.
I'm beginning to think that it's not quite that. Yes, that's happening, but they are not pulling me in. I think that what's happening is the lesson is going off, and there's like groups of individuals over the planet that have to be involved
because it's relevant to you as well. Yes. But yeah, so
we go down. Somebody said this today that they had to go down to. Yep, 3 o'clock. Here's 1 for 3. Passed out for 2 hours, and then woke up weird and edgy. Like. It was all around the same time. And yes, see, they're like, look, I'm purging. I'm not complaining, though. I'm not miserable, but it's difficult.
Right.
Almost like
a melancholy. You were very sad today. Not depressed, sad, like a melancholy.
I remember my dreams right now. I'm remembering. Okay. So when I went down the first time today, because people are like, lucid dreaming keeps coming up. They're like, how do you lucid dream? And I'm like, I don't know. How do you lucid dream? And I don't have the answers to everything. So I'm like, well, I meditated on it. And they said, dude, just lay down. Don't go to sleep. Close your eyes. Lay down. Put the music on. Right? Stay awake, stay awake, stay awake. We know if Frank's about to pass out, there he goes. I passed out 60 times before getting it correct. And sometime this week, I'm just laying there. But today specifically, I remembered all of it. I went down, and it was like I just gently started dreaming and came out of my body, and I realized that I wasn't dreaming, and I actually had things going on around me. I saw my grandfather, and he was playing me, and he was very sick. And I'm like, but I wasn't playing him. So we like switched up roles somehow, and I realized instantly, oh, well, that's me. And then I remember I was telling you, I started talking to him about the ayahuasca stuff, like the interesting stuff. And it got him from being sick, interested in the conversation to the point where he was like, yo, you're like my favorite person to talk to at this moment because I'm really sick. And I go, I know, but the sickest, craziest thing is that you're actually playing me right now, and I'm not actually playing you. There's another guy running around here playing Grandpa Frank. And then I turned and looked and went, all right, I got to leave right now because this is over for me. And he was like, what do you mean? I go, I think I'm in another timeline. Right. Because it's me, the man who walks in all worlds, but I was fully aware of what I was saying. I was in full control. And he was like, this is the coolest conversation I think I've ever had with anyone. And I go, right, Grandpa? And he was like, wait, what? And I just left. And then once again, I saw the Greys. But they weren't doing anything to me. But it's like there's a layer. There's something we're not seeing. And I think I was saying, David Icke talks about this, the invisible or the visible light spectrum, right out of our range of frequency.
Oh, yeah.
The next thing right there, the next layer, there's beings walking right around through here.
Absolutely. We talk about this all the time. Like the being when we were watching TV that was looking at me. And
it was a giant frog.
Right in front of me. Yeah. Frog baby. right in front of us.
Nose to nose with you, trying to get your attention.
I know.
And couldn't get, you had this blue, I talk about it's like a blue force field around you. And he went right up to it.
That's my protection from
and just sat there. Yeah. And when I say the demon removal, excuse me, they don't jump on Paula because she has this barrier around her that's always on. And then she comes out in full awareness that they are there. So they start running. They all scramble. So it clears the room pretty quickly as long as everybody's aware of what's happening. And it's pretty interesting. I'll be like, Paul, I need help. Right. And they are already, oh, here she comes. Or if I'm under and you're not there, they would be, oh, she's not here. And I'm like, she's never not here, though. This is the problem, guys. You think I'm a dummy, and I've surpassed the dummy. And they're like, oh. But I've had to clear them this week from multiple people. And they are there in this layer where I now close my eyes, just like in the Lucid Dream. In the Lucid Dream, they just were there. And I'm like, you're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be here. But yet, you're all here. And wait, who am I to say you're not supposed to be here?
That's right.
Wait,
who are you to say?
Where am I?
They're allowed to be here, just as
like,
we are
no,
allowed to be here.
You're with us over here. You just walked in over to our side now. And I went, oh, cool. You guys need to leave us alone. You need to do this, and this, or else I'm going to plant down and do this. They were like, dude, we don't want you. Like, we're done with you. Like, once again, another group are like, we don't want nothing to do with you. Not because
we just
you're a tough guy. And
we just need to coexist on the same plane.
We're done.
Yeah.
Listen, I go under in the mindset of meditations that I will protect. I'm not like Paula where I have the protection. I got to say, nope, if I'm building a superhero character, that is myself. Frank needs protection first, right? Your protection from deception needs to go up force fields around. So as you work on this and move through, I don't have a fear of this unknown anymore. It's fantastic. And yeah, I'm a little scared all the time.
You should be. We can't go to Costco without you getting attacked. So you have to be careful.
Fear of like you eating me and going, like that kind of stuff.
No.
That's out the door now. Right. So yeah, I have a harder time in Costco than I do at like black goo coming off the ceilings with demons shooting out of people's bodies because I don't give it credibility. I'm like, I'm aware that you're there, but you're this and I'm that. And that's just what it is.
Exactly.
And I have final say. And they're like, oh, you know. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, I do. See, as creators, you have the final say. That's it.
You create your reality.
So when you really mean it, it's a wrap. But
yes,
I don't think we all understand when we say really mean it. That doesn't mean stomping your feet and, I really mean this. No, sometimes there's this internal thing when you've just had it, right? This like silence takes over and you like, it's 100% over, right? Like this is happening. Deal with it because everything else is not happening. We've all had that moment. I think when people break up with people, there's like that moment where they're teetering and they don't understand.
Yes, it's
And
that very surreal moment where your body and your physical mind is not believing what it's seeing. And it's terrible.
yes.
It's a terrible, terrible,
When
terrible
you come
thing to
together,
go through.
though, with that feeling,
Mhm.
you realize that there's a higher structure.
Yes.
And that this is where I'm coming from when I'm speaking. Like, no more. Boom. And it's like daddy's home. I was telling Jimmy this today. I'm like, I walk in and it's like the parents just walked into the house and the kids are all drinking and naked. They're spray painting everything. They're smoking and they're doing all kinds of crazy things. And I go, hey, and they all go to scatter. Right? Now, the reality of it is before we knew what was going on, we just become part of that mess. We would walk into the home. We'd be scared of the beings that are in there. We'd be worried about nonsense. We'd be trying to take one thing at a time and casually fix it. Right? No. Clap the hands. I'm home. Now, when those doors close, you're trapped in here with me. We're not trapped in here with you no more. You guys forget. We remember it's a video game now, right? If we want to take it from this level, now you're in here. Now it's time
Clear your space.
to clear some space. Exactly. So when you start doing that and you start breathing and going back to the basics of learning what you are and what you can do and what you can feel on the inside. So I was really depressed today and I couldn't get back to what I was doing. So back to basics. There's grays, there's problems, there's this, but I'm also lucid dreaming and I'm in love and I have great things going on. And what do? I go back to dragon breathing. The only thing you could do when you're under an Aya experience, right?
Oh, I was dragon breathing today.
Dragon breathing. Yeah. So dragon breathing is just in through the nose, out through the nose a couple of times. And then when you're ready for the big, okay, get out, you breathe, you exhale out your mouth on the last one and you push everything out, right? Like you're always, we talk about submission. You have to submit. You have to take your oars into the boat and go with the flow of the energy and this and that. But you also got to ground and grow roots, right? Now you got to overcome this fear. You have to mean what you say because apparently we don't mean what we say. What are you talking about? And then we make a move on it. And we're like, I don't really give you credibility anymore. I'm aware of you and I understand that you're there. And I know the demon wants a seat at the table. And he wants me to say, well, the demon's got to punch into work every day. And I go, well, demon, I know you do. Now go sit over there because you're not working here. You've been fired from this place. And they're like, well, as long as I get the acknowledgement, yeah, bye. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to any of you. You're not to be here. And they back up. So there's this spot in, it's somewhere in the middle.
Because everything wants to make a connection to something else. And you're not allowing the connection to be made.
Jimmy's funny. He goes, I don't know why they keep showing up. I go, well, either they have a connection to you or let me take a look. And I took a look. I go, dude, they're programmed to be this way. Right? So they show up at your door. You back them out. Right? And they go, oh, we got to get out of here. And they go. And you go lay down again. They come back in.
Oh, yeah. And you have a thought and they ride in on
There
that
we go,
thought.
right?
Okay. And then that thought becomes a belief. And now they ride in the wave of that belief, whether it's wrong or right.
Yeah. And you're like, what are you doing here again? They're like, well, you called. It's like, no, I didn't call anything. And then you realize they're programmed.
But yes, you did, because you said, yes. I don't have enough and it'll never be. And I'll never whatever. And that's how they get in. That's the wave they ride on. It's the doubt. It's the fear. And now,
depression.
Yes, and now this is the height of it. People go crazy during the holidays. You know, the holidays are supposed to be a festive time, but for most they're not. And for so many reasons they're not. And it's just the way it is. And there's a lot of energy and a lot of manifestation happening right now, and we have to be very careful. We really do. We have to be very careful about what we choose to let in.
Yes.
Because it feeds off of energy. good or bad. You went down today, but you rebounded from it. Now, if you didn't rebound from it, we wouldn't have done the show. We wouldn't have made a connection to all these people we're talking to right now. And then we would have altered the course of the rest of the week.
Indeed. And I did not want to do the show when I got up today. I was like, I have nothing to say. I don't want to talk. One of the things, all right, shower meditations are the best things in the world. I forced myself into an early shower and just said, dude, do it now, get it out of the way, blah, blah, blah. I went through this whole terrible thing. And when I got in there, it was like I started purging again. And I'm like, oh, this is what that is, right? And I'm realizing this, it's rainy and it's crappy and it's chemtraily and it's been nasty and a couple of people have been getting colds and, you know, it's just been an odd few days. And I'm realizing that it's the holiday, it's during this time. If it's ever going to be this time, it's going to be now, and the depression's going to set in and like it just goes right down that friggin' rabbit hole. So I started saying stuff like, do I have cancer? And I'm like, they're like, I hear my higher self going, dude, no.
What is wrong with you?
So I go, no, you sure it's not in my lungs? Because I smoked a lot. And they're like, no cancer. I'm actually in you. There's nothing here. So I go, no, it hurts on my upper chest where my clavicle bone, like up here. I'm like, that's where my neck connects to my upper chest. Like, I'm like, it hurts when they're like, when you breathe. So they're like, did it hurt? I go, no. And they're like, well, then it's not your breathing. So I move my arm and I go, oh, but it's only bone there. And what's pushing up behind it? And they're like,
your rib.
Like,
your rib is back
now,
there.
My depression to this and asking these sounded like a worrier going, whoa, and they were going, no. And then finally tear. And this thing came off my chest, like ripped off. And I went, oh my God, that feels so good. I don't know what the hell's going. And then it just full realization, go back to basics. I'm like, oh, I'm dizzy. I don't know what to do. Breathe, close your eyes, breathe.
Dramatic ahead.
It's the only thing you have control over is your breathing and how you act and your attitude, right, to it. I'm working on. There's multiple things going on there, many layers. I can only attack certain layers.
I understand, honey.
Multitasking is very difficult at the moment.
At the moment, yeah.
With these new energies, I've been having troubles like getting my words out. So Paula had a whole afternoon where she couldn't make a full sentence correct. She's like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I go, I do.
Shut up.
But then I go through it as well. It's almost like I'll go through something one day, you'll go through it the next day, right? Then you kind of go through something, and then I flip through it the following day. And it's like we're playing hopscotch with this stuff.
Yes, and one of us is a lot more dramatic than the other every time.
Well, it wouldn't be fun if we would just both stand there and go. That wouldn't be quite fun, would it?
Oh, Frank.
So, to fight the depression, to move away from that, the hot shower, music, the breathing, and you're like, well, and I'm like, yo, but after that, that's when the removal, all that gunk and stuff, kind of started happening. Where now I can see again. I can feel it again. That emptiness was just, oh, I think I just hit a checkpoint and cleared.
Yes.
Purged.
Yes.
And now my Swiss cheese looking body, which is now holy.
Yes.
Because all this garbage was removed. Right? So if I have clumps of garbage in my knee, in my chest, when my heart hurts, when my belly, does your belly hurt? Does your little piece hurt? Like, what hurts you? Well, does your back hurt? Okay, well, you got energy clogs. You don't move. You don't stretch. You don't walk. You don't go for a run. You know, you don't do your breathing properly. What, you're eating cheeseburgers. What do you expect? Okay, when you purge that, you're like, bro, I feel empty.
Right.
Not depressed.
No,
really.
empty.
But I think I'm depressed, but I'm missing something. What am I missing? I don't know. Does it matter? But it matters right now to me because it's me. But is it me? I mean, if they remove a ball of cancer from inside of you, that's a piece of you. Do you miss that? No. You actually feel empty and holy in that one spot for a little bit until it fills back in. And it takes time, because we're in a place where time exists.
Right.
So it has to filter back in.
Right.
Right? And if you're still playing and, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, it's going to take a little longer for it to filter back in through that thick blockage of energy.
Right.
Right? But if you're like, you know what, I know this is difficult. Let me breathe this one out. Let me go for the walk. Let me exercise a little bit. Let me think about it. Let me get myself into a higher frequency. And then you start to see that, oh, I'm lighter. There's actually things happening here. When I close my eyes now, it is completely different than it was yesterday and the day before. I was telling you, it looks like that other light spectrum that's right out of our visible range where they're just walking around. I'm like, how are you doing this? And then it reverts back to when I was microdosing in the shower. I started crying. I put my head on the wall, and the being came through. His name's Feor, which I know his name, which is really weird. Comes through the wall, and I go, you're not even through the wall. The wall's like as if it's not there. You're like not even outside. You're just standing in this area, and you could just exist through the wall, not through the wall. And I was crying with my head against the front, and he goes, hey, pay attention to what you're doing. And when I looked, the wall was starting to, that I had my head against was leaving. Like it was just disappearing. And I thought I was going to fall into the street out of the shower. Like I freaked out. I put my hands like, oh, what are you doing? And they're like, the really weird thing is when you start to realize that the wall's not even there.
Yes.
And I'm like, what? They're like, he's like, how do you think I'm just looking at you? Like I'm standing here, right here. You could see me, right? Like I'm standing in the room, but there's no room. Just like when the other beings open up the top of the house and look down into the house.
Yeah.
They're like, we're right here. And I go, oh. And they're like, it's layered. You could come up here and be just as big as us. We're just looking down in.
It's like the dollhouse effect.
The dollhouse
right?
effect, the Russian doll. One of the things I'm able to do is look up and see the next density up. Usually people can see what's down, right? They could see anything under them. So if you're in a high density or a 3D density, you could look down, you'll see 2D, you'll see 1D. You'll be able to look into all those factors of everything that applies to that. I look up, I could see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It just keeps going. Like I could just ride that wave and look up, but it's not as fantastical as I make it sound. It's very difficult sometimes, and it takes a lot of work. And I've learned to just focus on it. Like, oh, Paul is the one that gets me to, oh, you could just do it. You could just do it. If you could do it with me, you could do it with Chris Gio. You can do it with Jimmy. You can do it with anyone else. And I'm like, yeah, but it's conditions and this. No conditions.
No conditions.
Doesn't matter where you are. That doesn't matter. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. So I have that constant, like I live inside of that thought. Like, I am it. It's me for sure. I bring all that back online because I have Paula reminding me, like, of course it's all real. Of course this is that. And of course this is this. And I just push that thought ahead, and it's popped me out into this area where it's hyper interesting.
Well, it makes your understanding, it's an ease with the understanding of it, right? Like this is just the way it is.
Yes. Well, I'm trying to, as I do this, come back online, right? And as we're doing the process, I'm trying to explain to people that less is more, because the further I get,
yes,
and the further any of us get, the easier the lessons are, but they're so hard.
Yeah, they are.
Like, love yourself. Breathe.
But that's hard.
Be
it's
good
hard.
person. And you're like, but what about all this stuff? They're like, breathe.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, shut up. I don't want to breathe. And they're like, well, then you're not going to get to step 2.
Yeah, you can't get to step 2. So if we have to spend time on this is how it is. One step at a time.
Love you guys so much. I can't believe the show's over right now. I still have so much more to say, but you are, I am, awesome. And we are your protection from deception.